Yeah. Good morning, Top Fed Rivalry followers. It's Friday morning. You know what that means. We're going to do a weekly review. Jackson's going to school us on some old school stats or something fun like he always does. I'm going to sit here and just be in awe of Jackson and maybe throw a line or two in. So, Jackson, good morning, Friday. How is it going for you?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can hear my son in the background there for a second, but
Hey, listen, if he
he
wants to
wants,
join, he's welcome to join us. So,
yeah, he just wants to talk. He just heard we're talking baseball. He's real excited.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, in your family,
You know, we're finally
in
finished getting handed out.
Yeah. In your family, everybody gets named after baseball players. Yet you didn't name your son after a
Yes,
baseball player.
I did.
Oh,
Uh, think Hall of Fame knuckleballer.
oh, never mind. Okay. My bad. My bad.
It's okay.
All
So
right. This has
there,
been a good show. All hope you guys enjoyed it. We're out of here.
yeah. Hey, buddy.
Anyways, Jackson, how are you doing this spring? What you got for number one for us?
My number one for this week. I
Hmm.
mean, we got to talk the awards. They spend all week painfully releasing the awards one by one, usually
Yep.
really late at night, except for the MVP award for some reason. But I'm going to start with you know the rookies of the year, Gunnar Henderson and Corbin Carroll. Uh,
Hmm.
I think they're both really good play on a bargain contract, the Atlanta Braves special. So that's something to be excited about. Coming off a World Series run, and Gunnar Henderson's probably going to be a really good player for a really long time. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really see any surprises with the awards. I don't know about you.
I did see surprises with the awards, and I'll talk about that on my number one. Just one area. So with the rookie of the years, I liked the selections. I don't know if you know, Corbin Carroll had was a 2050 guy this season as a rookie. And so he probably won't hit 30 plus home runs, but he could still 60, 70 bases. I mean, the dude is good. The dude is really, really, really good. So I'm sorry, Top fans. We record this on Friday mornings and it's 6 in the morning. My bad. I apologize. But yeah, you really can't you can't take anything away from him. He's going to be amazing, and he's going to be amazing for a long time. I think he's locked up for 3 or 4 more seasons, which will bring him to 26 or 27 years old, right in that sweet spot to get paid. Because if he's 26 years old and he's got or 27 years old and he's got 200 career stolen bases under his belt with 100 home runs, and his batting average is 260, 270. Yeah, he's going to get paid. He's going to get
Yeah,
a nice contract going forward.
yeah. I mentioned the Atlanta Braves specials. The Diamondbacks prior to this year signed him to an 8-year, $111 million contract.
Okay, then there
So
you
they,
go.
so I guess they got him till like what 2030.
2030.
So
So 7 more years. That puts him at age 30. So if he kind of stays on pace, he'll have close to 400
yeah,
stolen bases in his career. Something
yeah,
special.
and and if he's you know staying healthy is the name of the game. But if he stays healthy, he's going to get paid at age 30. We've seen the contracts flying around.
Yep,
So
exactly. All right, so here's my number one, the snub, the only snub. Okay. Most people argue that Blake Snell deserved the National League MVP. I mean, the National League Cy Young. I will argue that Spencer Stash Strider deserved it. The only statistic where Blake Snell beats Spencer Strider out is in ERA. Now, Spencer threw I think 6.1 more innings than Blake, or 6 innings even, something like that. Blake had 99 walks. Spencer only had 58. Blake had 230 plus, I think 231 strikeouts. Spencer had over 280. So everything hinged. They pitched almost the exact same amount of innings. Spencer pitched six more, but six more and 60 or 50 different or 50 more strikeouts does not equate. But six more innings and you walk 40% more of the batters, you have a 20 game or a 20 win season, right? And Blake Snell was 14-9. Now, arguably the Padres went through some tough times, but I'm going to argue that that was a snub. Um, and I've talked to several people. Some people feel that that's the case. Some people feel like Spencer only has 1.5 pitches, and I mean he can get tattooed. But if you look at the numbers, Jackson, I'm going to say that Spencer should have won it. Argue with me. Tell me I'm wrong.
Uh, I can see why he didn't win it. I mean, I think he finished right about where I thought he would. He had 2 or 3 really bad starts that kind of jacked his ERA up. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Blake Snell being the Cy Young Award winner. I think you probably could have given it to Logan Webb or Zach Gallen as well. They both had really good seasons. Logan Webb had a sneaky good season. But I just, to me, dominance doesn't, walking 100 batteries is what the Cy Young Award winner is. But at the end of the day, Snell won it. He's the 7th player ever to win one in each league. And it just kind of is what it is. He's going to get paid, and I don't wish bad on anything, but buyer beware, because Blake Snell's either really good or really bad, and there's kind of no in between.
Yeah,
So we'll
they're and that's the frustrating thing, Jackson. If you look at this and I mean, what you're saying is the ERA is the only statistic that matters because you have a 20 game winner versus a 14 game winner. You have a guy that walked 98 people or 99 people versus a guy that walked 58. You got a guy who's got 50 more strikeouts than the guy that won it. Spencer Stash was 20-5. Okay. Now, I would argue if all numbers were equal and all numbers were equal, and Spencer had 20 wins and Blake had 14 like they did, and it went to Blake, I would argue the other way. I would say, listen, it doesn't matter, right? Wins. I mean, if you play for an awful team, you play for an awful team. But honestly, I think he got juked on this one. I really do. But Spencer's also young, and he will get a Cy Young at some point in his career. But if we're talking about a snub, I'm gonna argue that that was a snub.
Yeah, I
So
mean, like I said, there's probably 2 or 3 other guys who probably deserve to be in contention. I don't think Snell should have ran away
yeah, I
with it like he did. It's just weird to me. Whip is a big stat I'm a big fan of, because the name of the game is don't get runners on. They can't score if they don't have runners on. And a 1.19 whip doesn't exactly scream, dominant. You know, I guess good on him for stranding the base runners, but it'll be, remains to be seen whether the trend will continue, because baseball can be kind of weird with batted ball luck and stuff like that. There's batted ball luck for hitters, and there's batted ball luck for pitchers. Maybe you walk 2 guys in an inning, and some guy tattoos an 108-mile-an-hour one hop line drive right at the shortstop, and you get a double play, you're out of it. you know,
yeah, yeah,
so
no, I agree. Yeah, I'm just that dude. I'm just that dude that says you can't let a one stat. So, anyways, we can debate this. They asked me to vote, but I had to send them a voicemail when they called. I said I'm preparing for weekly review with Jackson. I can't vote on this stuff. So, all right, Jackson, what do you got number two?
number 2, I was going to talk about. It is official. The Las Vegas A's are a thing, Bill.
Yes, it is
You know,
official.
and looking into all this, their stadium lease is up at the end of the 2024 season in Oakland. Oakland's not going to want them. And the rumor has it that they're going to play at various stadiums, including they want to try to play in San Francisco and maybe some minor league stadiums in California, and maybe at their AAA affiliate. To me, Bill, what I don't understand, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I find it ridiculous that a team's allowed to move to a place that they don't have a stadium built yet. They don't have the funding. They don't even, they have like a crude computer drawing of what maybe, of what the stadium could look like. They don't have plans. They don't have a contractor. It's going to take 4 years to build the stadium. So the A's are going to be, what are they going to be, like the Savannah Bananas? The A's are in town. Come catch the A's Dodgers series in San Jose.
Yeah.
It,
No, I agree with your assessment. I like the move. If you've seen the stadium lately, it doesn't look like a professional stadium. There's nothing that screams wow to you. Um, but at the same time, at the very same time, when you look at things, um, I yeah, I isn't it par for the course for the A's? I mean, look at how they've been run the last couple of years. Now, now the city may release them, release, not release as in like go away, but release the stadium to them for a couple more years, knowing that, they're not doing a farewell tour. But who knows? I mean, the Las Vegas Aviator Stadium is very nice and it can hold 10,000, 12,000, which is more than that they're drawing right now at the Coliseum. So the question becomes, is
yeah.
the Aviators are attached to the A's, and I I think if I'm right on this, you're not allowed to have your affiliate in the same city as your professional team, if I'm not mistaken. So
I I think you can. I think teams just don't do it because they'd rather have them. It's just easier to space them out.
yeah, it
They're
wouldn't
usually
surprise
pretty close.
it wouldn't surprise me if the Las Vegas Aviators became affiliated with another. I mean, it's one of the best ballparks I've seen as as a an MILB ballpark.
Yeah. It just seems kind of silly and almost arrogant to me that they would want to, ask the Giants to play in their stadium, and then are probably going to say no.
Well, the Giants have a history of that, right? Remember, why was Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, built? Because the Giants and the Yankees played in the same stadium, and the Yankees were drawing a bigger crowd, so the owner of the Giants kicked them out. Figured there'd be no place for them to build a stadium. They went right across the river into the Bronx and built the house that Ruth built. And
Yeah.
so, but yeah, no, and Major League Baseball is a fraternity slash sorority, depending on who's in charge. And so it won't surprise me if the A's play in San Francisco for a year or two. They're not going to kick them to the Wolves. They're not going to say, "Hey, sorry." Now, if they were a division rival, maybe. I mean, if the Dodgers were asking the Giants to play in their stadium, maybe. But cross league, right? And the A's are not going to be competitive. Um, I think ownership is working so diligently on what you said, finding a contractor, finding the land, finding everything that their on-field product is struggling, and their on-field product is probably going to struggle for another year. But don't be surprised when they become the Las Vegas A's. Do not be surprised if they start making it happen.
I'm not going to hold my breath. I
Well,
think
well, think about it. Think about it for a second. And no disrespect to the city of Oakland, but I was just there um last month. No, September, end of September. I was just there. The city of Oakland is not awesome, especially not down by the stadium. So if you play for the A's, right, and you're making $3 or $4 million a year, and you're kind of an average guy, you got appointed to the All-Star team. It's got to have one person from every team, right? You take that money to Vegas, you buy yourself a nice home, you're going to play in a nice stadium, you're going to play in a new stadium. There's better school districts. You don't have to worry about certain aspects of it. You just don't go to certain areas past the strip, right? Vegas would be a lot better of a place to raise a family than Oakland would. So
Well, that is true. Ownership hasn't really put much into the on-field product in the last 20-ish years. So
yeah.
that's why I'm not going to hold my breath. Unless ownership changes, it's going to be more of the same thing.
Yep. Okay, so here's my number two. Okay, and this is going to be a debate. I'm going to try to push your buttons a little bit. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
We now have a professional baseball team in the gambling capital of the world. Should we start a hashtag that says free Pete Rose? Should we let Pete into the hall? I mean, he didn't gamble against his team to lose. He didn't throw anything like the Black Sox. He gambled, which was a huge no-no. Now, on the bottom line of the MLB network is the odds for FanDuel, right? Everywhere you turn, they're trying to get you to bet on baseball now. Now you have a team that's in that city. Should Pete Rose not be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a tough stance.
Oh,
Major League Baseball's put themselves in a position where, they tend not to, they like to be right more than they like to be. They like to what's double down more than they like to be, right morally. I think at this point you kind of have to let Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame because, you can probably gamble at the stadium at this point on your phone, you know,
yeah.
and it's just, I think the sports, there'd be no gambling and then you wouldn't have to worry about the integrity of the game, but that's not how that works. But
It's not how that works.
yeah, it's not how that works. So I think they need to let Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. Do I think they will? Probably not. I think they're going to give him the old wait till he dies treatment, then put him in, just because they'd rather double down than do what's right.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. Um, Major League Baseball likes to be right more than they like to be forgiving. Um, and their definition of right and your definition of right and my definition of right might be drastically different than theirs. But it's kind of an egg all over your face. And what it's become such a folklore phenomenon, however you want to say it, that the commissioner that frees Pete Rose, that's what he's going to be known for, or she's going to be known for forever. And so there are going to be some people that are going to love it, some people that are going to hate it, and but that's what they're going to be known for forever, right? If you ask the casual baseball fan, not you and I, but if you ask the casual baseball fan to name 5 commissioners that MLB has had since they've had a commissioner, if you picked 100 of them, less than uh, less than 10 of them could give you 5 names.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, but that person that frees Pete Rose is going to be that guy or that girl.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you got for number 3?
Number three, I saving the best for last. It's the first time in MLB history that we have two unanimous MVPs.
Oh,
Bill, uh,
I love it.
I got it right.
They got it right.
You
They
know,
got it right.
I am surprised that Acuna got unanimous votes, though. I will add that because I thought with how voter mentality is, some guys look beyond the numbers. You know, but at the end of the day, I think Acuna deserved it. Any other year, they got 3 guys behind him, probably win MVP.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And I was interested to see that Matt Olson came in fourth in that voting. Um, I mean, with that many home runs, you would think that he might sneak into third, but
He finished fourth by like 3 points or something like that.
that one surprised me just a little bit. Because
Yeah,
again, like you said, if you took Acuna's season out of it, Freddie, Mookie, or Matt win it. and probably Matt for what he did, for how many RBIs and how many home runs he had. Probably Matt. But again, what do I know? I just work here, right? So yeah,
MVP's probably a given as long as he's healthy.
exactly, exactly. And so, yeah, yeah, it's mhm, mhm, mhm. So yeah, but good call on that one. I was expecting you to say that. Um, so yeah. Um, the my number three has to do with managers. And so we're seeing a lot of these managers get hired. Um, some of them get recycled to other teams. I'm going to make a bold statement and say if you're and I'm just using this person as an example, I'm not saying that they are a problem. If you're a Bob Melvin versus a Pat Murphy, you may or may not be getting in your own way. Because the game has diverted back to the 70s and 80s style of playing. We talked about this before, get them on, get them over, get them in. I wonder, I wonder how that plays itself out, right? And so my argument is the younger managers or the newer managers, the Joe in Houston, the Pat and Milwaukee, might have an advantage over the old school managers that are still trying to hit the long ball and not playing little ball. So, and I had and it was funny. I had lunch with the former MLB guy a couple weeks ago, and we were talking just about random stuff. And I said to him, I said, what would happen? And I'm going to paraphrase him here. What would happen if when you were playing, and he played in the 80s, the second baseman or the shortstop moved over to play right behind second base, and third baseman moved over to play the shortstop position, and they shifted. And he goes, "You bunt all day long down third base." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "And what about the guys that wouldn't do that?" And he goes, "They'd hear from the other of us." I'm like, "Oh, okay, okay." So we're diverting back, and so I like the new managers that have been hired. I just think that when you go old school, you're going to bump into some issues. But again, what do I
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's really interesting to see. Obviously hitting more home runs wins more games because you're scoring.
Mhm.
I think that's a data point people kind of ignore when it comes to home run data. They're like, wow, if you hit more home runs, you win more. I'm like, well, yes, because you're scoring more runs. But I think, like you said, it's more about get them on, get them over, get them in. If you can score more consistently and not rely on the home run ball, I think you're set up for better long term success.
Well, and I, you know, I don't know about you, but the first day of spring training, if I were managing, and I don't care if I were managing the A's. Okay, if I were managing the A's, I would have to take a different approach than if I were managing the Braves or the Dodgers or the Yankees, right? But if I were managing the A's, I'd walk in the first day and I'd have the two words up on a whiteboard: World Series. And I tell them, boys, anything less than a championship, we fail. Okay. There's 29 people that are going to get the E card from Top Fan Rivalry. There's only one that's not going to get it. And we're going to be that team. And I would talk to them about just the very, very basics of stuff. The A's could win 100 games if they played a lot of small ball. They had a guy that stole over 60 bases this season as a rookie. Just work on getting on base and moving people over. Remember, the Yankees, when they signed A-Rod, they were the dream team in 2008. How'd that go? Phillies won the World Series that year. Yankees weren't even in it. The next year, the Yankees figured out how to do it, and they won the World Series. And so, that being said, I don't know. I like the moves. I just want to see the style of baseball that is supposed to be played. But again, I'm not in the dugout.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. So, Jackson, do you have any honorable mentions for me?
They announced the next two All Star games.
They did, and they are at where?
Atlanta 2025, and then Philadelphia 2026. And do you know why Philadelphia for 2026, Bill?
Why is that?
Well, you see, the United States might have a big birthday coming up.
In 2026. Yeah. Hmm.
The big 250. So,
Man,
uh,
US is old.
yeah, I mean, compared to a lot of other things in the world, not really, but hey, we feel old. But
Yes, we feel old.
I,
Exactly.
I think that'll be a fun All-Star celebration. It'll be right around the. I'm sure they'll put it right around the fourth. Uh, Philadelphia is a really patriotic city. It's very
It's a
rooted
very
in America.
patriotic. It's a very patriotic city. So yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, the I think yeah, they did announce those, and I like those choices. And again, I really hope that the MLB stays away from Las Vegas for the first. I mean, they won't be there officially until 2028. As far as I'm sorry, guys, it's still 6 o'clock in the morning. Um, they won't be here officially with their stadium until 2028. I hope that the MLB doesn't do an all-star game like right away there. Like let it marinate, get some fans in, that type of thing.
Yeah,
So, yep. All right, Jackson, we did it. It's Friday. Let's upload. Woo woo.
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
was good.
And for Top 10 Rivalry followers, do not forget, check out the website. There's new things on there all the time, but check out the website. And in addition to checking out the website, um, maybe consider going to FanFest. We still got a few tickets left over, so consider going to FanFest. Jackson has already told us that he doesn't like us that much, so he's not going to go. But it is what it is. We're gonna try to talk him into it or something. Over the Christmas break when he's in Southern California, we might not let him go back to the East Coast. We might just keep him here and say you're gonna go, and then we'll let you back to the East Coast. Who knows? Who knows? Jackson, have a great morning, have a great day, and we will talk to all of you soon.
Yeah, talk to you soon. See you.